In this video, we're going to show you how to add syntax highlighting to your Webflow sites. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Kyle, the creator of No Code Collab, a site with tips, tricks, and tutorials for your next no-code project. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and head over to our website where we have code snippets using syntax highlighting and other resources to help you with your no-code builds. So there are two parts to including syntax highlighting in your website. The first is installing it on your website, on your Webflow site, and then the second is using it. I'm going to try to stick to the brass tacks on kind of the installation and how to get it set up. There are sites that have documentation and all that, but I'm not going to get into content delivery networks and all those things. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to get it up and running on your site, and then we're going to look at how to actually use it. So what we've got here is the No Code Collab website, a tutorial page where we actually use syntax highlighting. And the reason that we use it is because there are times when we don't want the browser to render code. We want to display code to the readers. And oftentimes, if you were to just write code in your files, the browser would render it. But using syntax highlighting, it kind of blocks that off a little bit and allows us to style it in these nice ways so that it's more legible and it doesn't get rendered. So that's what we're going to create here is this box. So the first thing we're going to do is head over to prismjs.com. Prismjs.com is the plugin. It's a third-party tool that we're going to be using. It is totally free. You can see on the right-hand side, we've got some circles that have different themes. So first thing you're going to want to do is find a theme that you like. If you like Twilight, you can kind of see some of the different colors that are associated with the theme. Maybe you like Tomorrow Night, or Koi is a lighter theme. So let's say we're going to go with this one, this Okaidia. And that's the one we like. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is choose a theme. Then if you scroll down, there's going to be a place where it says CDN, usage with CDNs. I've got these links in the No Code Collab website, so you can go and check out these links there. So find CDN, and then there's a link here that says CDN.js. Click that link, and it's going to take you to a page that has all of the Prism.js files, JavaScript files, CSS files. This is where we're going to grab everything. We're not going to use the download button at the top of the page because then we have to create a JavaScript file, store it on a server somewhere, and then call that file. If we use the CDN, we're going to use the files that are out and available on the internet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy Prism, the minified Prism.js file. So you can click that little code, copy script tag. Then you're going to head over to your Webflow project, find the page where you want the code, the syntax highlighting to be available to you. In this case, we're going to use it on the tutorial pages. So I'm going to go to my tutorials template page. I'm going to click on the settings. And for the minified JS, I'm going to go to the before closing body tag. We'll zoom in for you here. And you can see I've already added them, but all you're going to do is hit paste. Now, there are some extra bits in this script that you've copied, and so you can get rid of everything after the integrity. So you can delete that, and so you should have just script source, a link, and then a closing script tag. So we're good there. That's it. Now we've got our minified Prism.js file on our site. You can stop here. If you don't want to extend the functionality at all, you don't need the copy to clipboard. If you don't need anything fancy, you could stop here from a JavaScript standpoint. The next thing you need, though, is we need to go back and get the styling. We need to get the CSS. So remember the one I liked was that Okaidia. I think I'm saying that right. Well, I'm going to copy that link tag. So I've copied that. I'm going to head back to my Webflow page. I'm going to go up to the inside head tag. And what I'm going to do there, I've already copied it here, but I'm going to, just for paste again, I don't need all of this extra stuff again, so I'm going to take that and delete everything after integrity. And now you can see that I've got this link to a style sheet page. Okay. So now I've got my styles and I've got my minified JS. Now, again, I could stop here or you could stop here. But what I actually have found, because I'm using larger swaths of code and I want to show these script tags and I want to show more stuff that sometimes includes opening and closing tags, it's a little more complex. What I actually have found is that the plugin for they've got these different plugins. The plugin for the Escaped, it's called, I'm going to find it here. Unescaped markup. The unescaped markup plugin is vital because that allows me to kind of write a bunch of code and it will handle a bunch of stuff. So if you're having trouble with some of your syntax highlighting because some closing tags aren't showing up, come and grab this unescaped markup, copy the script tag, head back over to Webflow, go back down to your before closing body and paste that script there. Again, I'm just going to get rid of those extra bits. Now you can see I've got my unescaped markup. Okay. Now, because I want to have this copy link or this copy button, I need to have two additional plugins. The first plugin is called Toolbar. So again, I'm going to copy that script tag, go back to Webflow, paste that in. Then after Toolbar, I'm going to load it's called Copy. Let's see if I can search for that. Prism Copy to Clipboard. I'm going to copy that. There's a bunch of other plugins. And if you go to the Prism page and you click on plugins, you can see a list of all of the plugins. So go and check that out at your heart's desire. The idea is the same though. You're going to come to your CDN, you're going to copy the script tag, and you're going to paste it into your Webflow site. And in the end, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a few script tags. Now, beware that if you add everything, this could slow down your site. The other thing too, this isn't totally best practice because ideally what would happen is you would combine all these files into one file and then you would only make one call to download your JavaScript. Because Webflow doesn't serve as a great place to host your JavaScript files, it's just this is the kind of the down and dirty, this is the easier way to do it. But just know that there are more efficient ways to do this if these scripts end up slowing down your site. So now I've got all of my JavaScript files. I've got my CSS file. And now I have done part one of syntax highlighting. This is now added to my site. I'm going to save that. And then I need to publish my site in order for that to take effect. So step one, check. Now, let's say that you're in a situation where you want to actually add some syntax highlighting to a blog post or to a page. Well, what you need to do is you need to add a custom code embed. So I'm going to head over to my tutorials. I'm going to look at, here's a tutorial that has some code. What you're going to do is in my rich text field, I'm going to add a code block. And in that code block, I'm going to call out two things. I'm going to write two things. The first thing is pre, and the next tag is code. And then I'm going to do because I was using the unescaped markup, let me see if I can get this a little bigger for you. Because I was using the unescaped markup, I'm going to do a HTML comment. This is just part of the unescaped markup. And then I'm going to close that comment, close the code tag, and close the pre-tag. Now, anything I write in here, oh, there's one more thing I'm missing. I actually need to go like this. I need to say class equals language dash markup, end quote. Now, inside of this custom code element, the JavaScript library that we've loaded in is going to look at this. Now, anything inside this, anything in here, it's going to do the syntax highlighting on. So this is where you can kind of paste in your code. You can do it if maybe you're in Sublime Text or you're somewhere else. This is where you can paste in your code. Let me give you an example and show you something that I've done on where I've used kind of more real code, and you will get a better sense. So I'm just going to close out of that. So here's the code snippet from earlier. So what I've done is I've got my pre-code, class equals language dash markup, and then I've finished it that way. Now what you'll notice actually though is if I get rid of this, if I get rid of that comment, that bracket exclamation dash dash, my code is actually highlighted. The syntax is highlighted because this is an HTML embed code editor. So it actually looks nice. What I actually like to do is I write all my code in here or in Sublime Text. I write it, I bring it in, everything looks good. I like this. And then what I do is just at the very end, once it's all set up and running, I add in my comment, my HTML comment, and then I close it out down here at the bottom. I save it. And now that will be that will have the syntax highlighting. If I come back over to my tutorial, the one I just did was input masks. And you can see that what is happening is I've got all of my code highlighted. One other thing to note is by default, since I added the plugins for this copy button, I added the toolbar and then I added the copy button, because in order to add the copy button, you need the toolbar. You can style this copy button. So what I did is back on my styles page in Webflow, I went to my styles page, and you can see I've added a button. And if you use the class copy to clipboard button, if you use the class copy to clipboard button and then style that up, your button below your syntax highlighting will be styled however that button is styled. So that's a nice little enhancement if you want to change that. You can also, if you're using any other plugins, you should be able to right click, inspect element, find the class, and then you can do that same method where you add the style to that class on your styles page. Okay, so one more thing. The reason that I'm adding the HTML comment in my code, so let me head over to a tutorial. If you remember, I used the unescaped markup plugin with Prism.js. If you're not using that plugin, you do not need this comment. You can take this out and you can just leave your code kind of as is. The problem is some of these things, like the closing script tag, some of them still get rendered by Webflow and by the browser. So the only way that I have found to accurately display the syntax highlighting is to use that unescaped markup plugin. If you are just using simple HTML or simple JavaScript, or you don't need, or CSS, you don't have these closing script tags and other things, you don't really need the unescaped markup plugin. You could just probably keep it kind of vanilla out of the box. Because I'm doing some more stuff, I went through a lot of troubleshooting to figure out that this is kind of the way that works best in Webflow in order for all of the code to be displayed properly. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and you're able to add some really nice syntax highlighting to your website. Thanks again for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and be sure to go check out our website where we've got a lot more tutorials and other code snippets to help with your no-code projects.